All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the United Square Dancers of America presentations of Beyond the Dance Floor. Today, we are thrilled to have a discussion about digital marketing and how to make the media work for you. If you don't already know me, my name is Bonnie Abramson. I am the education coordinator and the webinar coordinator for the United Square Dancers of America. This session is being recorded and will be posted to the USDA website, which is www.usda.org. And probably sometime the middle of next week, this will be up along with Allan's presentation in a PDF format. And we encourage you to share this presentation with other folks and to pass the word along and review this. We are thrilled today. We have Allan Hurst, who is a relatively new friend of mine. I've heard about Allan for years, but he recently moved to the Sacramento area and has become very active in our area. He is a caller. He is the historian for the IAGSDC, which is the International Association of Gay Square Dance Clubs. He has also an active member of CALLERLAB on their marketing program and committees. And professionally, he is a technology professional. So he knows the ins and outs of some of this technology stuff that I sure don't know much about. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Allan Hurst.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Can people see that okay? Okay. And I presume you can all hear me because Bonnie just nodded when I asked a question. So let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Allan Hurst. This is a modified version of a presentation I gave earlier this year at CALLERLAB with a gentleman named Ray Owens, who runs a company called Square Dance Tech, which specifically designs and hosts websites for callers and clubs. My end of this is and I'm not going to read everything on the slide. The slides are detailed so you can take the slides home for notes. My own involvement in square dancing, I have run 2 different clubs. I am the caller currently for Capital City Squares in Sacramento, as well as filling in for several other callers as needed at other clubs in the local area. I have run 2 different clubs. I have run or helped to run 5 different IAGSDC conventions. And typically, because I am a very fast typist and detailed note taker, I get stuck with the job of secretary, which means I'm the person in charge of communications and typically some kind of marketing outreach. When I joined CALLERLAB, I floated around for some years, deciding, would I join one of the committees, and I actually ended up joining the marketing committee due to Mike Hogan, who is an extremely friendly and forceful personality. And he kind of arm twisted me only a little bit into at least coming to one meeting, and I kind of got hooked. So I am on the CALLERLAB Marketing Committee. And professionally, I am an IT architect and project manager for a network technology company in the San Francisco Bay Area. So let me keep going, just double checking the chat. So why digital marketing? Digital marketing refers to how do you present yourself electronically. Social media has been evolving constantly over the years, and so how we market to dancers has to change and evolve. So let's start off with some very basics. Who is your target audience and how do you best reach them? Right now, in current times, people are super busy. So you have to make your information available electronically, and you need people to be able to find out what it is they're looking for. We'll talk about what they're looking for in just a moment. So this slide caused quite a bit of eyebrow raising at CALLERLAB. Who are you selling to really? So all of us Well, actually, I started dancing in my 30s. Most of us started dancing in our 20s or our teens, and in our heads, we are still 27-year-olds square dancing. That's not what reality suggests at this point. We are no longer 27 years old. We just want to think we're 27. So all of us want to bring in 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds into our clubs. And here's the blunt reality. A 20-something doesn't want to dance with grandpa. Sorry. We are not their target audience. People who are in their 20s want to dance, for the most part, with other people in their 20s. Same thing for people in their 30s. So one of the rules of marketing is you need to know what the median age of your group is. So if the median age of your club is 62, you are going to target people who are no more than 10 to 12 years younger than that age. So if your club is in your 60s, you should be looking for people in their 50s. If your club is in their 70s, you're looking for people in their 60s. And the way this works is you bring in a 10-year younger generation, you get them dancing, you get them involved, you get them onto the board, and then they, with you, with the whole club, recruits the next set of dancers who are a decade younger than them. This is a generational process. People often tell me, but we've got to jumpstart right now. 20-somethings will come once. They won't come a second time. And I found this out the hard way when one of the clubs I was running, El Camino Reelers, this is before the pandemic, embarked on a very aggressive program where we had monthly fun nights, which was an intro night. We would do half square dancing and half something else, like half square dancing, half contra, alternating tips, or half square dancing, half line dancing, or half square dancing, half folk dancing. And we brought in a huge number of 20 and 30 somethings. The average age of our club at that point was 50 something. And they would all come once, they had a great time, and they never came back. I think out of probably 150 people, individuals who came through our doors for the different fun nights over the first year, 2 of them ended up in our class. So it was not worth the time and effort in the long run. So Gary Weeks just asked a question: how long will it take to build a club if you're only adding people who are 10 years younger than the average? It's going to take several years. It depends how fast you can recruit people who are younger, because every time you bring younger people in, that brings your median age down. It's a continual process.
Is that good?
So we have someone who's, if you could mute for a moment. Thank you. All right. Let me move on. So I've condensed a lot of slides down to this, and I'm not going to go through this slide extensively, except to point out that we are in this lower half. We think we want this upper half, which is, teens to 30s. And then each of these shows, and the boldface shows, where the majority of those users are. So if we are looking for people in their 40s to their 60s, which is approximately 10 years younger than most of our clubs right now, we are actually going to be looking in 2 places. We're going to be looking at Facebook, and we're going to be looking at YouTube. Snapchat is great, but realistically, Snapchat is for people who are 15 to 25. TikTok is for people who are 13 to 24 for the most part. LinkedIn is a professional services, it's a work-related thing for people who are working. It's like Facebook for industry professionals, not a good place to advertise for social stuff like square dancing. Twitter is, again, 18 to 49. People would like Twitter, but Twitter has kind of devolved into a place that's not very pleasant right now. Pinterest is also, again, between 18 and 49, but I'm not really sure that it's going to do much. And Instagram is definitely too young for square dancing. I mean, if you are starting a youth square dance club and you're going to market to youths, then everything in the blue is fair game. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat. I TikTok, I don't really have good numbers and a good sense of where TikTok is going, although 40% of the users are 18 to 24. So if you're going to do a youth club, that's fine. But for regular clubs, stick to the lower parts of the orange box. And I have the source for this on the slide. So you can take when you take this home, you'll have something you can refer to later. This is simply a Pew Research Center headline explaining that a majority of Americans are using YouTube and Facebook. And then Instagram, Snap, and TikTok are all for adults under 30. This is the summary of the slide I just showed you. So what do you need at a minimum? And this brings up, what are people looking for? If you have someone who is new to square dancing, they want to know, what classes do you have? How much do they cost? When are they held? If you have a dancer who is new to your area, this happened to me when I moved to Sacramento a little over a year and a half ago. And I was going to all the different local clubs' websites. Nobody had an up-to-date calendar. Nobody had prices. Several didn't even have levels. Do we dance plus? Do we dance mainstream? I couldn't tell. It was really hard to figure out where I could go dance. And were singles welcome? Wasn't talked about. I came out of the LGBTQ community where singles is the assumption. Singles is the norm. And some clubs are welcoming to singles and some aren't. So you need to be aware of that when people are looking for your club. So because you need to think about what people are looking for, what types of people, you need to have a website. It has to have a calendar. That calendar must be updated every single week. For that calendar, you have to have events listed. Is it a class? Is it a dance? Is it a workshop? You need to talk about where it is, who the caller is. It would be lovely to have prices there or pricing somewhere on your webpage. Separately, you will need an electronic mail setup. You need to have both a direct contact email and phone number for questions so people can get a hold of you. It's really hard to get people involved if they can't talk to somebody or get a response from somebody via email pretty quickly. So you have to actually have somebody monitoring that email and responding quickly. The other thing you can use is an email list, which sends weekly announcements out to your current members. You might also have a separate email list for people who have said they want to join your next class. And you can say, our next class is coming up, blah, blah, blah. Here's the details. We hope you'll join us. Something else you can use electronic mail for is you can set up a list to your board. So an email to, say, info@primates.org would go to the whole board. So the whole board is aware of every inquiry that comes in, rather than relying on just one person.
What? I'm on a Zoom meeting, but I can talk. What?
If you could mute yourselves, I would appreciate it. Thank you. So Bonnie had asked, is an email like info@primates.org acceptable? Absolutely. I generally find that email addresses with your domain name, primates.org, Capital City Squares, Reelers.org, whatever your club's domain is, are most effective. I find that it's a little off-putting if I'm sending to an AOL.com email address or a Gmail or a Yahoo. It indicates that the club doesn't have its own domain or may not have its own domain or isn't really very tech-savvy about that kind of thing. And you want to be professional. Because people used to dealing at this point, people you're trying to recruit, are used to dealing with companies who have domain names, like Firestone.com if you want to get your car fixed or tuned up. So they're used to seeing domain names, not Gmail, Yahoo, and AOL. The next thing you need is a social media presence, and you don't have to do both of these. You could only do one. You could do both. You could do one at a time, which is Facebook and YouTube. I've already explained why Facebook and YouTube are so important, because those are the two places most likely to have people over 30, which is who we're mostly recruiting for right now. The next thing is a little dodgy sounding. It's called hyperlinks. And what that means is every one of your presences talks to your other presences. So your website has a link to Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, you have a link to your website and to YouTube. On YouTube, you point to the website and Facebook. So no matter where somebody comes into what I call your social media cycle or your social media arena, they can go and find the information very quickly. So again, I'm not going to go through these in detail. I'm going to go through, because you can take this presentation home with you, but prepare your platforms. You need to have a domain name, which should be your club name. You could do .org or .com. Most of my clubs are .orgs, but it depends on what you can register. I use places like GoDaddy or Hover to register domain names. You need to have an email address, as Bonnie had said. Ideally it'll be info at whatever your domain is, but it could be a Gmail account. I just prefer having it. Inspires more confidence from a marketing standpoint to use your own domain wherever possible when you're receiving email. You need to create a website. You need to create and update weekly an online calendar. You need a public Facebook group, and you need a YouTube channel. And again, some of these can come later, but this is the approximate order: domain name, email, website, calendar. And then after that, you can start going to Facebook and YouTube. Next is deploying your content, which means you're going to have someone whose job it is to do this on a weekly basis, place all of your club nights and dances and classes and workshops into that calendar and keep it updated. Put that calendar on the front page of your website. At least put a link to it on the front page of your website so people can see what's coming up. Do you have a class that you run regularly? You need to have class information on your website with an easily available link. And I will show you a little later what I did for Capital City Squares as their webmaster. It's still a work in progress, and there's still some things I need to get on there, like pricing. But the first thing people see is, here's a link for classes, here's a link for general information. Posting a downloadable PDF. PDFs have become the lingua franca, the universal language of the internet. And class flyers on paper are lovely when you see people in person, but you're trying to reach out to people who are, in the hinterlands electronically. They're somewhere else. And so just having an image, like a JPEG or a GIF of your class and dance flyers isn't really good enough. It needs to be a PDF, because PDFs can be downloaded, they can be printed, they can be expanded for those of us who have visual acuity issues. I myself have some issues with developing cataracts, so I like to take a PDF and blow it up to see some of the details. And this goes for class info, dance flyers, anything that you want people to carry away with them electronically. People will also you can also email PDFs to people very easily. So put a short video on YouTube if you're going to do a YouTube channel aimed at recruiting new dancers. You can post some longer videos of YouTube of fun dances or singing calls, if you like, which show off your club having fun. Whoops, sorry, I just went one. There we go. So, website goodies. These are extra credit goodies on your website. If people can sign up from your mailing list via a website button or a website form, that is terrific. A trend I'm seeing in the gay clubs, and I'm starting to see some of the straight clubs do it, is letting people pay for memberships or classes via a PayPal or Zelle or Venmo button. PayPal is extremely common. Younger folks tend to use Zelle or Venmo, but most website providers will support all three of these. They all support PayPal. Square is another one, another credit card and debit card processing system. PayPal just will take pretty much anything. It'll take credit cards, it'll take checking accounts, and it'll take debit cards. It's very easy for folks, we find. How about having people sign up online for memberships? How about having them sign up online for classes? If you make it easy for them to do right away, you will catch them in the heat of the moment and they'll sign up. They may or may not show up, but if you have them pay at the same time, they'll show up because they put their money in. So you want to make this really easy. So the next question is, why are we going through all of this freaking work? We're doing this because we have visiting dancers in our area and they would love to come dance with you. They've got to know, where do you meet, what time, and what level you dance. If you have people who want to learn to square dance, again, when's your next class? Where is it? How long does it run? What does it cost? Next, callers. Callers visit local areas too, and they would love to know what levels you dance, so they know if you'd be a good club for them to reach out to say, hey, I'm going to be in your area that week. Would you happen to have any time for me to come in and call an evening for you? So we have a question from Gary. How much are clubs charging to sign up for email lists? Email lists are not a chargeable thing. Most of the clubs I know use Google Groups, which is free. And you don't really charge anything to people to sign up for your email list. It's a free service. And it doesn't cost anything if you use Google Groups or a similar service.
Allan, there was another question we missed a bit back. The question was, how long will it take to build a club if we're only adding people who are 10 years younger than the average? I
did address that, actually. And the answer was it will take several years. And the idea is that you bring in people who are within a 10-year younger range, and you get them dancing, you get them involved, you get them on the board, and every new person you bring in who is younger than the median brings your median age down. And it's a continual cycle of recruit. And you periodically check, and you may find that it may take a couple of years, it might take 5 or 10 years for your median age to drop. It depends how aggressively you recruit people at the middle to low end of that 10-year range. And that 10-year range, I say 10 to 12 because I think 12 is more realistic. But people who are paid marketing consultants will tell you, and I think they've called it the decade rule. Basically, a decade younger is as low as you can go before people who you're trying to bring in lose interest in you. So it's sad but true. Next, linking. I mentioned this earlier with the hyperlinks. You want to link everything to everything else. So on your website, you need to have class information, club night information. It could be embedded or it could be links. Membership information. Do you have a calendar? I love seeing calendars embedded on the front page. I couldn't do it on my own club's website because the format didn't lend itself well, but everything it has a link. A button for your Facebook group, a button for your YouTube channel. And I will show you my own website so you can see that I'm trying to eat my own dog food, even if I haven't finished all of my checklist items yet. On Facebook, again, point to website and YouTube, and on YouTube, you point to the website and to Facebook. So in marketing, there is something called a visual hook. And this is any kind of a presentation you can make to catch somebody's eye. Now, these are posters from El Camino Reelers. This is from our intro nights, our fun nights, which were the intro nights that I told you about. And we use the same basic format, and we changed the colors and changed the callers and changed the dates. And these were very effective at bringing people in. This is a catchy and eye-catching thing. These were done by a gentleman named Ed Wilson from El Camino Reelers. And before you ask, no, he does not do graphics for any other clubs. People ask him. I presented these at CALLERLAB some years ago, and Mike Hogan, who I didn't know, stood up and said, "That's what I want. I want posters that look like that catch people's eye." And I looked at him like, "And you are?" "Oh, Mike Hogan, chair of the marketing committee. Nice to meet you." That's how I met Mike. So, nice guy. Here's another one of Ed's posters. This is for one of their dances. The whole thing is a rebus, and it's all visual puns. So there's "to an ocean wave, flutter wheel, load the boat, U-turn back." This is the kind of wonderful graphic he produces. I do actually recommend, if you can find somebody who is a good graphic artist in your club, recruit them, ask if they can do this for you. You may need to pay them something. The laborer is worth their hire. You may need to find maybe a younger graphic designer in your area, maybe from a community college, and use their services and pay them something for each of the flyers. But you really want to have flyers that bring people in. So let's go through our digital marketing checklist. We've talked about a domain name, which comes from GoDaddy or Network Solutions or Hover or similar registrars. And the mechanics of all of this, I'm leaving for another presentation at some point in the future because we'd be here for 3 or 4 hours. You need a website. There are a number of different places that offer easy to program websites. The ones I listed are Weebly, Wix, Google Groups, WordPress, and Site Builder. There's also Square is another one, and MemberSpace, and Squarespace rather. YouTube and Facebook. If you have not downloaded it for free, anybody can download the CALLERLAB Square Dance Marketing Manual. The CALLERLAB Square Dance Marketing Manual is a huge document, and it will tell you how to set up YouTube and Facebook and whatever else you want. And it lists a dozen different platforms. It is absolutely marvelous. Yes, Mike Gormley, GoDaddy has a website builder product as well. So CALLERLAB resources. You can take a picture of the screen if you want, or you can just go to knowledge.callerlab.org. You will get a copy of the presentation, so it'll be a little easier. I did put an easier to type shortcut, which is bit.ly/CL Marketing Manual. It is a great, great resource. I cannot stress it highly enough. Some other resources. I have a Square Dance article page, which talks about club recruiting and restructuring and has articles for callers and dances. That's at danceinfo.org. So any questions before I move on to some live demo stuff?
Alan, do you remember Ray Owen's website address by any chance?
I believe it's Square Dance Tech. Let me verify that in my other window, because I have another window open just for that purpose. Yes, it is squaredancetech.com. And I will put that in the chat so everybody has it.
Yeah, he has a lot of YouTube videos and other things that are available for free for clubs to download and use. So
he also has free artwork, most of which was AI generated, so it is not licensed, so it is free to use without a copyright issue. All right, let us, and there are several appendices in here, which I am not going to go through in detail, but to answer Mike Gormley's question, GoDaddy, Hostway, other ISPs have a number of unpackaged websites, prepackaged websites. As you can see, Mike, I actually do list GoDaddy Website Builder. Not that I was trying to pander to you specifically, I knew that you would be here, but yes, it's in there. And I will show you some different examples of some of the websites. I will talk a little bit about this. A traditional website, you get exactly the services you want. It's usually cheaper to have a website hosting company host your website, but you need a lot of technical knowledge and a lot of ongoing maintenance. The prepackaged websites are not as flexible as traditional, but they're pretty darn close. They cost a little more. They require very little technical knowledge and require, other than updating your content, which you always have to do, there's no real maintenance needed on a prepackaged website. So This is a traditional website which was coded with HTML. This is my friend Bill Eiler. His website has looked like this for quite a while. Notice he has contact and calling schedule not front and center, but top right, easy to find though. So you can find out exactly when and where he's calling and how to get a hold of him. As a caller, this is a really good example of a website. This is a Google Sites website. This is for Temple Squares in Salt Lake City. And this was their first website, and they embedded a Google Calendar, which I very strongly recommend doing. I love Google Calendar because people can share it and they can subscribe to it, and it's easy to edit and easy to change, and you could have multiple people, give multiple people access to change and add stuff. And then along the side were all the different things you could go for, their future conventions, their newsletter, and links. This is from several years ago. They have since changed, but I wanted to use this as an example of embedding a Google Calendar in a website. This is their current website, which was GoDaddy Website Builder. Which has not as many things as I would like, but a number. This is us at I believe this was the Philadelphia convention in 2019. I am one of also the founding members of Temple Squares, which is a story for another time, even though I don't live in Utah. This is a Weebly site. This is the Square Dance article archive that I mentioned earlier, with a whole bunch of different types of articles. And this is what it looks like from the front. And this is what it looks like from the back, with different elements you can drag and drop onto a page to build whatever you want. Weebly, Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy Website Builder are all very similar in nature as far as building your website in the back end. So I'm going to exit the slideshow, and I'm going to share a different screen. As soon as I can find it. There we go. All right, so this is, I'm going to have to move some of my control bars so I can see my own screen. There we go. So this is Ray Owen's site, Square Dance Tech. This is the artwork that I mentioned. He has a huge number of different things. Let me show you one of them. So these are all images he's generated with AI, and you can use these on your website if you like as clip art, or put them in newsletters or whatever you want to do with them. And some of these are quite striking. He did a marvelous job. He was a blast to present with. I loved presenting with him. Fun guy, very nice, very knowledgeable. He also has done websites for a number of callers: Tony Oxendine, Jack Plattis, Buddy Weaver, Mike Seastrom, Hunter Keller. So just so you know. So this is an older website for a C1 club in Sunnyvale, California, Interlock Squares. Write-up, they don't have everything on the front. They have a general write-up. Here's our dance location. We dance every Thursday. Here's our schedule. For information and classes, here's our class page. They have a calendar. They use, and they have updated it, which I am very grateful for since I'm demonstrating this and haven't checked any of the calendars in real time. They're updating this regularly, and it has hot links to where they're dancing and who the caller is. Their class page talks about their class, and they don't give a price because they set the price for their class every time they schedule the class. They haven't scheduled a class right now, but they have a place to email if you want to go to a class. This is information on their membership. When do they have meetings? What are their bylaws and policies? And how do you apply for membership? This is another Bay Area group, Advanced Squares. I like this because they have the schedule on the front page showing who the caller is with links to the caller and queuer on every page. It shows where they dance, and then pricing is a separate PDF which says $15 a dance. Here's your subscription price. How do you pay? This makes it very easy to find what you're looking for. So if you're an advanced dancer going to the Bay Area, you can go here and here's a map, and you can find exactly where to go and how to get there. Because if you're an advanced dancer, you want to go dance to some fun callers. So I mentioned in passing that some websites embed everything on the front page, some have links. This is an example of a page that has a lot of interesting links. And what they've done, El Camino Reelers, is they have club night information right here if you're a visiting dancer. If you have classes, that is front and center with a sign up button. And if you click the sign up button, it takes you to their class page, and it has a FAQ, a frequently asked questions about their Plus class. You can download the flyer. You can also pay for the class with PayPal. Again, once they hit that PayPal button, they are committed. And if they're doing this on a whim, let them get committed right up front. I love the way they did this. This is their next set of dances. This is their holiday tea dance with Michael Levy. And again, what's the program? How much does it cost? Where is it located? I know here's another one of their potlucks. Again, this is Ed Wilson's Marvelous Design Skills, Return of the Potluck. But again, everything has a schedule, a price, and a location. So, and the reason I keep stressing this so much is you know where you dance. You know how much it costs. You know what your levels are. But think about it from the perspective of an outsider. They have no idea who you are, what you dance, where you dance, how much it costs. And you want to bring them in, because the more people you can recruit, the more people they can recruit when it's time to recruit for your classes. They have separate links for the location. Again, they embedded a Google map. I love embedding Google Maps. It makes things really easy. And then there's a link which goes to the Google map. They also have merchandise available. So you can buy, sweatshirts and t-shirts and polo shirts. And they do this periodically. Their classes page, they have 2 different classes. They have a wonderful information for students page. How do you square up? What is styling? How do you thank the caller? And they refer all of their students to this page. And again, we saw the beginner class already. And then their calendar. And this is again a Google Calendar. And if I click on any of these, it shows where, when, and what they're doing. And I see there's something in the chat. I haven't gone back down there. Visitors can be a huge part of each club. Gary said visitors are a huge part of each club. Visitors should be a huge part of your club, because visitors spread the word about how much fun you are to dance with. And I will tell you, when I came to Sacramento and Bonnie listened to me grouse about this for several weeks in a row, I was like, where the Verschluginger do they dance? Oh, well, they dance over here. Well, how would I know that? It's not on the website. Well, you just know because you're in the club. I'm not in the club. I'm trying to dance with the club. It was very frustrating. We had none of the Sacramento area clubs, as much as I love them, almost none of them have pricing, including my own. It's something I'm working to change. And this is a cultural thing. A lot of them, several clubs said, can you come call for us? I said, great. But they never told me what level. And it didn't say on the website. Oh, everybody knows that they dance plus. Well, I don't know. So yes, visitors are a huge part. And not just visitors, but people who are new to the area and looking for something to do. Now, Bonnie has mentioned that the ASDSC, which is the overarching Square Dance Club, Regional Square Dance Club Association, actually has just worked with Ray Owens, and their new website is up. But the individual clubs haven't changed their websites yet. So we'll talk about some of that. So this is the website that I am currently webmastering for Capital City Squares. There's a lot of work still. I took this over from somebody else a couple months ago. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. But the first two things people can find are class info or contact us, because getting butts into the class is the biggest priority we have right now. We need to expand the club. Like so many clubs, our club was pretty badly hurt by COVID. A lot of people went away and never came back. Some people died. Some people got sick and decided they didn't want to dance anymore. So we are really, really trying to get people in. And the pictures on the website are pictures from our current class. I wanted pictures that were dynamic. One of our club members, Leif Jones, is a superb photographer, and he manages to capture people having a lot of fun. So our class information right up front. We have a click here to be notified of our next class, and then we have our dance flyer. And if you click on this, and we have a flyer you can download as well. So click on the image of the flyer to download a PDF version. We also have a FAQ, which I stole unabashedly from El Camino Reelers. I'm not too proud to steal a good idea. Who's teaching? I don't have someone to dance with. What about food? How do I dress? All of that's addressed here. We actually maintain 3 different calendars. We maintain our own calendar, which is an embedded Google Calendar. So every one of our events shows what we're doing that night, where and when, and who the caller is. We also put our dances in here so people know. We have not yet put into our events the pricing. Again, this is something I am working on with the board, and we are having discussions about that and the importance of putting everything in there. We also maintain a link to the ASDSC dance calendar, which is right here. They've changed the link, so I have to reprogram that link. But this shows for the whole area what's going on every week. And I love, Ray uses his own calendar plugin called Team Up for this, which is a paid plugin, and he loves it. And it's as good as anything, and you can click here for club dances or festival events, and you can pick what you want to see. So if I just want to see all the workshops and classes, here are all the workshops and classes. We also maintain a link to the Bay Area LGBTQ square dance calendar, which is, again, a Google Calendar with multiple clubs doing multiple things on different nights. So, for example, here's all the things happening on Wednesday, December 13th, and all the different clubs, and I can click on any of these. And this is all built into Google Calendar. There's nothing you have to do special. That's why I happen to like Google Calendar, at least as a jumping off point. Other information we provide our newsletters online. This is great for maintaining membership continuity. And again, I use pictures from current dances to give people a sense of levity and of excitement. And I do this for every page. This is a board of directors, but again, I'm trying to use photos that show that we're not just standing there, we're actually moving. For our SSD class, we have study materials because we want to make it easy for them. Same thing for our plus class. We haven't started our next plus class yet, and we haven't started the next advanced class yet. We also have a list of general dance resources with some wonderful articles. If you have never seen the article, How May I Help by Barry Clasper, it's a great article to give to all of your club members before you start a class. It's how do you help and how do you not help students when you're dancing. It's a great article. So other things to note of, we have a photo archive so people can see what we do when we are dancing and who our people are, who our members are, who our callers are. And we have a contact page with an email address. Right now it's a Gmail address, and I'm working on getting them to make it an actual domain name address. And we also have a contact form people can fill out with a message. And this goes to basically an email address which is monitored by at least 2 or 3 board members at all times. This will eventually all go out to an email address that is a group that goes to all of the board members at once so they all see it. So nobody can say, oh, we didn't get that email. So here's our next upcoming dance. If you click here, you will get a PDF, which you can print or you can share. Again, this particular PDF was done by our in-house photographer, who is Leif Jones, and he did that. I'm very proud of that. He did a great job. Now, this is not an electronic thing. This is a marketing thing. One of the policies that I suggested to our board, and we are now doing it consistently, is every flyer we put out has to have our logo somewhere. We've been putting it in the lower left-hand corner, and it has to show our local association, ASDSC, because we are a gay club in a little gay club island in a huge sea of straight clubs. And we need to make sure that all the straight clubs know that we are acknowledging the ASDSC and we respect them and we love them and we want them to attend our dances. So if you have a local association, consider putting their logo on your flyer to encourage other clubs to attend so they know that you are inviting them. We actually have gotten a number of very positive feedback comments on our incorporating the ASDSC logo onto all of our flyers. Something to think about from a marketing standpoint. Let me go back up here. Photos, contact, newsletters, dances, and about. So I'm still organizing this, but again, you can find out who the club is, when were we established, in this case, 1981. What do we do? Where do we do it? We talk about our weekly schedule. We have our dance location marked very clearly with a photo of the event, plus a map, plus a link to Google Maps, which is an interactive map, so you can find it easily. All of this is designed to make it easier for our dancers, for our visitors, for our students to find us and to come play with us. We want them to come out and play. We are very, very much involved in recruiting to build up our club again. I suspect many of you are also working very hard to build up your clubs again. So the question just came in from Brian Elmer is, does Capital City Squares have a dedicated page only for new dancers? Basically, this class info page is what we do. Now we do have a separate link called Join Us, and Join Us takes you to this page. And this is for so we have little tiny cards, and I don't think I have one in front of me. I should have had one with me, with QR codes on one side. And the QR code, if you scan it with your phone, takes you to this page, which is, hey, come join us. Everyone's welcome. Here's where we dance. Click here for our class information. Click here for our dance location. These go to the places I just showed you. When is our next class going to start? Sign up here to be notified of our next class. So this is our new dancer landing page. And again, we called this Join Us. But you could call it Welcome or New Dancer, but it's easy to remember. We put it both the full link, the Join Us link, and the QR code on all of our promotional materials. They're like cards we hand out to people, and it was actually quite effective. We have a current class of 6 students. We were hoping for more, but we got 6, and at least 4 of them found us, I'm told, through the Join Us page. So I'm pretty happy with that. Other questions? Nope, got that. Okay, so online registration. So if you are having a festival, and let me pull this up in a different window, because I do want to talk about this. So I am going to pick on the California State Square Dance Convention. because a couple of friends of mine are the chairs. Not really pick on it, but so this is the California State Square Dance Convention. If you don't know, it's in April in Santa Maria. They have a fabulous calling staff coming in, tri-tip dinner and ice cream social, all kinds of stuff going on. And the thing I like about this is I could go to forms and I could hit online registration and I could do all my registration online. I clicked here to register and I picked what I wanted. In this case, youth. I'm not a youth anymore. I'll do an adult one. And I added it to my cart. They have a shopping cart ready to go, and I paid with PayPal. It was very painless. It was very easy. So if you are going to hold a festival, you really need to have a way to make this happen online for registration. It's not just registration you can buy. You can also, let me go back. You can also buy the optional tri-tip dinner on Saturday. The Santa Maria barbecue, you can get that online as well. I did the whole thing online in under 10 minutes. And let me tell you, compared to some of the other local festivals I've gone to where I had to download a PDF, print it out, painstakingly fill it out, grab my checkbook, younger people don't use checks. I know. Leif, who is the club photographer and the graphic artist for Capital City, is 30 years old. He does not have a checkbook. He said, write a check, what for? So keep in mind, now he's 30, but people in their 40s and 50s are abandoning their checkbooks. I write checks once or twice a year, almost, and that's typically, until recently, one of them was for CALLERLAB, and one of them was for another one of the straight clubs that I belong to. And now everybody's gone online. I don't have to write checks to anybody anymore. So having online registration for your events is super, super important. One of the things we ran into when we did our fun nights is we were charging, I think, $10 at the door. And the first time we did this, a lovely young woman walked in. Oh, $10. And she handed me her phone and said, Apple Pay? And I said, we don't do Apple Pay. Oh, I said, no. Tell you what you do. You go in and enjoy it. If you have a good time, come back next month and pay me $20 in cash. Okay. And she did. But yeah, keep in mind, online registration is important. And that's the reason, and one of the things we're going to be adding to the Capital Cities website is we really need to add things like PayPal buttons so people can pay for everything online. It's much easier. In fact, Capital City Squares operates on a subscription model, so you can pay per dance or you pay a fixed fee per month. And I think there's also a yearly membership fee. If we could collect that via PayPal, yes, there's a small charge for PayPal, like it's 1.5 or 1.25 or 2.25%. But all you need to pay for all your PayPal fees for a year is one registration, one membership, one set of dues you wouldn't have otherwise got for the year. And that was the experience at El Camino Reelers. I cannot stress highly enough. You need to have a way for people to pay online now, especially if you're going to start trying to recruit younger dancers, even if it's only 10 years younger. People like the convenience of online ordering. I will also show you if we have any callers here. This is my calling website. And again, on the front page, I put all the media so people can see my club dancing when I'm calling. I have a link to my training and affiliations. Each of these logos links, so BMI ASCAP, GCA, CALLERLAB, IAGSDC. And then I have right now my calendar is very easy. Every Wednesday, I'm at Capital City Squares. When I have other clubs I call for, I edit this manually. I will at some point establish a Google Calendar. I also put links into all of the clubs that I call for and all the organizations I'm a part of. And then, of course, I have contact information here. And most callers who have caller websites make it really hard to find the contact information. They make it hard to find the calendar, and they make it hard to find out what the caller does and who he or she is affiliated with. Ray Owens is pretty good at getting most of that information front and center. So if we look at Mike Seastrom's site, here's his bio. Here's his contact information, phone number, no email address. Ray prefers not to put email addresses because he's afraid they're going to harvest them. But a phone number, front and center, which Mike does answer if you call him on it. Pictures, so you can see photos of him calling and dancing, which is great. If you have a flyer and you're going to put Mike Seastrom on it, this is a great place to go. And if you're a caller, you should have some place that has pictures of yourself that people can, use for flyers. This is an especially nice picture of Mike and Lisa. I really like that picture. Anyway, and then here's his calendar and his flyer table. So here's his Costa Rica adventure. And each one of these is a clickable link. If you click on one of these, it takes you to a PDF that you can download or print. So let me stop the screen share if I can find where I put it. There we go. All right. That is the very basics of digital marketing. I tried to keep this short. We are 56 minutes in. Do we have any other questions that I have not yet answered?
Mike Gormley has a question. Mike?
Yeah, regarding Zelle, PayPal, and the other options, I'm treasurer for our Callers Association, and we offered Zelle as a way to pay the dues, but it's the same question for signing up for a dance or whatever. With Zelle, you have to either use your personal email or your personal phone number to link it.
Right.
And the problem with that is we change treasurers every 2 years, and it's kind of a pain. What about the other methods like PayPal and stuff? Is there some way that you can have one solid thing for the organization so they can link into it?
PayPal links to a specific email address and a specific bank account. I don't recall what Venmo needs, and I haven't done Zelle back end yet, but you have, so you know what that needs. So other than changing everything every year when you change over treasurers, I would probably take a look at PayPal and see if you can do something with them. They were one of the first ones, and they tend to be a little easier. So you might link it to something like treasurer@yourclubnamedomain.com. And then you would have to edit the phone number as you go through, but you link that to the club's bank account that way.
Okay. Another question, what is the estimated cost to start up without any of these steps?
Domain name registration costs anywhere from $20 to $40 a year. It's not a terribly high cost. When you get the presentation, you can go and price out GoDaddy, Website Builder, or Wix, or Squarespace, and they all have different plans. Let me pull up a couple of them right now. And then I will share that out. And what was the other one? So let me go ahead and reshare. So here's Weebly. Weebly's pricing. Most of these will have a free, very, very basic website. You can't do things like shopping carts. You can't do You can't use a custom domain name, etc. But you can take a look at it, see if you like it, and then abandon it if you hated it. So it runs from $10 to $26 a month for Weebly. Again, not a huge amount of money, but something to put into your budget. This is Squarespace, and I am looking for their pricing. They make it really hard. Let's go ahead and get started. And I'm just browsing, and wow, they are making this super, super hard. Let me try this a different way. Squarespace pricing. Thank you, Mr. Google. So from $16 to $50 a month, depending what services you want. I ignore their best value. I basically go down and look through here. So, a personal is fine. If you want to do integrated e-commerce and they charge a flat 3% transaction fee at this level, then, and that's for physical products or services, you'd have to spend $23 a month. I find it interesting that if you spend $27 a month, you get no transaction fee for physical products and services. I ignore things like powerful merchandising and subscriptions and discounting. I basically am going to want either, and you don't have to have their checkout or their e-commerce. You could just put a PayPal link, which all of the sites will support. Same thing for Zelle and Venmo. Any of these e-cash sites, they're also called micropayment sites. If you go to PayPal's website, you can find a little set of code, or a little GIS you can cut and paste into your website. So $16 to $49 for Squarespace, GoDaddy website builder. Well, you could just tell me the pricing. Let's see if this, let AI. No, I don't want to sign in. Website builder, go away. I just want pricing. GoDaddy's being particularly persnickety about this today. Pardon me. Let's search for GoDaddy pricing plans. Oh, that's not GoDaddy. That's find the tools, plans and pricing for website builder. Wow, they made that hard. So from $10 to $21 a month for GoDaddy. And again, everybody, it depends. And people will ask me frequently, what should I use for my website? And the answer is go try them. All of them have a start for free plan. So try all of them. Try GoDaddy, try Weebly, try Wix, try Squarespace. And whichever one, this is presuming that you are the person who has to do this, you are most comfortable using, that's the one you commit to and actually subscribe. Try before you buy. They all have equivalent capabilities. Next question we have. Thank you, Wayne, for your comments. I appreciate it. Brian wants to know, what should be the roles of different tiers in terms of marketing or recreation? So surely the club should be seen as the point of sale and others are advocacy. Actually, I have not found most regional or state or provincial councils to be really good at marketing to new dancers. The best I've seen is in the Bay Area a few years ago. We had a number of clubs in San Francisco who kind of did a joint marketing push, but it was only half-hearted. Really, the best way to recruit for your club is for your club to go out and do the recruiting. The issue with a regional marketing campaign is the question's going to come up and it's going to get ugly. Who gets the dancers? Is it going to be a strict geographic limitation if they're closest to Abbotsford versus Vancouver? You know, or is it going to be, well, yeah, this dancer is in Abbotsford, but they work in Vancouver, so they want to go learn in Vancouver after work every night. It's a really ugly discussion. So I tend to tell clubs, you are your own best advocates. And I encourage you to go out and market. There are a couple of, let me find them here. So Puddletown Squares is an LGBTQ club. I hate these. I absolutely hate these. And let me mute this so it doesn't. So Puddletown Squares has done a series of wonderful videos showing their club dancing. And this has been a highly effective video. This is a 4.5-minute video. And people talking in the background about why do they square dance? What do they enjoy about it? They did this completely on their own in a shoestring budget, and this has made it very easy for them to recruit. This is what I was talking about when I said, get on YouTube, make yourself a channel. This is all in the CALLERLAB Marketing Guide, I promise. And, have a short video on YouTube introducing your club and who you are. And you can then take this link, there is a share link, and you can take that link, you can copy, you can put it in Facebook, you can email it to people, and you can explain to them who you are and what you do and why they should come try dancing with you. Now, one of the best ways that I think regional organizations can help local clubs is to provide funding for marketing activities. So I would love to see, for example, regional funding pools for things like setting up websites, marketing dances, reaching out via email blast campaigns with a paid email marketer. Topic for a different day, long topic. That's the best way I think that the different tiers can help. USDA helps just by making people aware of the various issues and challenges that are facing our clubs. And I am highly grateful, thank you, Bonnie, for USDA's assistance in making people aware. Yes, you have to market. Yes, you have to have a website. Yes, we've come out of COVID. Here's what other clubs are doing. Sharing information is the main role, I find, of the different tiers other than local clubs. But really, what it all comes down to, when the rubber meets the road, your local club is the best advocate for square dancing in your area, in your city.
If I can add to that, Jack Platties did a webinar for us. I think it was back in August. It should be on our website. And it was all about the recruiting efforts that their club did over a period of years and how substantially their club has grown from the efforts they put out. So that is one that you might want to go back and revisit on the USDA website. And we've had multiple comments about Mike Hogan and the marketing manual and the marketing program. Mike Hogan will be our January webinar presenter. You don't want to miss it. That date is January 20th. Mike Hogan is fabulous. He did a 6-hour webinar or presentation for us at our recent festival in Sacramento, and people were engrossed all the way through, and he could have talked for another 6 hours. So a lot of information, and I encourage you to spread the word about that January 20th webinar. Any other questions for Allan? Any other comments? Or Allan, do you have anything else you want to add?
I do. On the information about marketing to a decade below your median age, I am going to post a link in the chat to an article I wrote in 2015. It is still applicable, where a bunch of Bay Area clubs brought in 2 different marketing professionals to talk about how do we retain, how do we recruit, how do we market, and both of them said the same thing. You've got to have, and this is 8 years ago, and everything has changed in 8 years, but some of the things in this article are amazing. You need to know, why do you square dance? You need to know, what is the point of square dancing? The gentleman, Sean Lemson, was like, well, why do you guys square dance? And he took us through this long exercise, like, so the idea is to have fun. We said, yeah. And he said, so I have to go to class for 36 weeks, and I have to show up every single week, and I have to dress a certain way. He said, this doesn't sound like fun. And you're the people who are marketing. Think about this. I'm going to post this in the chat right now. It was a great presentation. There are a few typos in the article, which I have still not fixed. We also had a wonderful gal named Deb Dolan, who came and talked to us about, how do you get more people? What is a lot of people in a class? Is it 40? Is it 15? Is it 6? How do you manage that funnel? And she talked about the power of brand storytelling. What is your brand? What does your club stand for? What do they do? Tell the story of your club. So you may recall the video I showed you of Puddletown Squares. They're telling their story, and it's a 4.5-minute story, and people look at it and go, that does look like fun. And so something Deb said that I've always remembered: people buy with their hearts and justify with their heads. The article is great. Take a look at it. And of course, you will have the presentation. My email address is on if you have any follow-up questions. And other stuff, I don't see. Bonnie, when can we get a copy of this excellent presentation?
I just answered that. Our webmaster is currently in Australia. I will probably guess it's going to be about the middle of next week. I will send him both the recording and the copy of your PowerPoint presentation. He is very good about getting them online. So probably I'll post it to him tomorrow. But you can get it at the USDA website, which is www.usda.org.
Very good. Any last questions before we break? You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Before you go, I want to thank Allan. I talked you into this, and it's been absolutely fabulous. I thank you so very, very much. I thank all of you. We had a lot of new folks. We had people from all over the country and Canada join us today. I hope you will spread the word about these webinars. If you would like to get a direct email about upcoming webinars, please post your name and your email address in the chat. Mylene McCall, who was on with us earlier, I don't see that she's still on. She will add you to our mailing list so that we post it on Facebook, we send them out email, and we encourage you to spread the word. Thank you so much. Allan, I owe you. You did a great job, and I know you'll make me pay. But thank you all for joining us today. I hope you've learned something, and we really appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.